Just now, the United Nations Security Council has passed a resolution that has called for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza. Unlike all the Security Council resolutions that different permanent members have vetoed, the resolution was passed this time, and the United States did not veto it. Rather, it abstained. But how did that happen, and what would be the consequence of this resolution? Let's find out.
The provisional agenda for this meeting is the situation in the Middle East, including the Palestinian question. The agenda is adopted. In accordance with Rule 37 of the Council's Provisional Rules of Procedure, I invite the representatives of Israel and Yemen to participate in this meeting. It is so decided. I propose that the Council invite the permanent observer of the Observer State of Palestine to the United Nations to participate in the meeting in accordance with the Provisional Rules of Procedure and previous practice in this regard. There be no objection. It is so decided. The Security Council will now begin its consideration of Item 2 of the agenda. Members of the Council have before them document S/2024/254, the text of the draft resolution submitted by Algeria, Ecuador, Guyana, Japan, Malta, Mozambique, Republic of Korea, Sierra Leone, Slovenia, and Switzerland. The Council is ready to proceed to the vote on the draft resolution before it. I now give the floor to those members of the Council who wish to make statements before the vote. I give the floor to the representative of Mozambique.
Mr. President, I have the honor to introduce this draft resolution on behalf of the 10 elected members of the Security Council, namely Algeria, Ecuador, Guyana, Japan, Malta, Republic of Korea, Sierra Leone, Slovenia, Switzerland, and my own country, Mozambique. We wish to commend the Presidency of Japan for convening this meeting in order to take action on this important resolution on the Middle East, including the Palestinian question. We express our deep appreciation to all members of this Council for their efforts and inputs on this draft resolution aimed at ending the catastrophic situation in the Gaza Strip. Mr. President, the situation in Gaza is a matter of grave concern to the entire international community. Indeed, the escalation of the conflict in the Gaza Strip and its catastrophic consequences are a clear threat to international peace and security. In this context, the E10 felt compelled to table this draft resolution before you. The 15 members of this Council, individually and collectively, have a mandate under the Charter to work for the maintenance of international peace and security, and their actions impact the entire international community. This is the strong conviction that led to the drafting of the text that we are considering this morning. This Council has been consistently unanimous in its agreement on the obligation of the parties in conflict to respect international law, including international humanitarian law, and international human rights law. D10 have always supported the call for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza as a fundamental step. For this reason, and in respect for the holy month of Ramadan, we have proposed the present resolution that demands an immediate ceasefire during this sacred period, leading to a permanent and sustainable ceasefire. At the same time, the draft resolution demands the immediate and unconditional release of all hostages and emphasizes that humanitarian access must be allowed to address their medical and other humanitarian needs. These have been among our key demands for weeks. The draft resolution further demands that the parties comply with their obligations under international law, as we said before, including international humanitarian law and human rights law. The draft resolution also emphasizes the need for the parties to abide by the pertinent resolutions adopted by this Council, including resolutions 2712 and 2720 of 2023. D10 have adopted a consultative approach during the negotiation process of this text. We have consulted extensively and in good faith with all members of this Council in a frank, open, and flexible manner with the aim of achieving a text that addresses the situation in Gaza. The adoption of this draft resolution will certainly be another important step this Council can build upon to comprehensively address the crisis in Gaza. Given the utmost urgency of the situation, we call upon all members of this Council, all and each member of this Council, to vote in favor of this resolution. While this resolution is crucial, it is essential that we continue working towards a comprehensive ceasefire and a lasting peace in the region. I thank you, Mr. President.
I thank the representative of Mozambique for their statement. I give the floor to the representative of Russian Federation.
Mr. President, we are extremely stunned and disappointed about the way the work on the draft resolution in the last 24 hours was done. The fact that the word permanent in OP1 relating to a ceasefire is proposed to be replaced by a more weak wording was something we learned about a little more than an hour before the beginning of the meeting. That is unacceptable. We all received instructions for the vote on the text that contained the word permanent, and we believe that that is of fundamental importance. All of the remaining wording leaves too broad an area for interpretation, which could allow Israel to resume its military operation in the Gaza Strip at any moment following the expiry of the ceasefire, which we today hope will be established. In order to avoid this scenario, we would like to make an oral amendment to the text and return the word permanent in OP1. In so doing, it would read as it read in the previously issued resolution, namely,
demands an immediate ceasefire for the month of Ramadan respected by all parties, leading to a permanent sustainable ceasefire, and also demands the immediate and unconditional release of all hostages, as well as ensuring humanitarian access to address their medical and other humanitarian needs, and further demands that the parties comply with their obligations under international law in relation to all persons they detain. Благодарю вас.
Thank you.
I thank the representative of Russian Federation for their statement. Members of the Council have before them a proposed amendment submitted by Russian Federation to the text of the draft resolution contained in the document S/2024/254 submitted by Algeria, Ecuador, Guyana, Japan, Malta, Mozambique, Republic of Korea, Sierra Leone, Slovenia, and Switzerland. Rule 36 of the Council's Provisional Rules of Procedure states, inter alia, the following. When an amendment adds to or deletes from the text of a motion or draft resolution, that amendment shall be voted on first. Accordingly, I intend to put the proposed amendment to the vote first. Will those in favor of proposed amendment please raise their hand? Against? Abstentions? The result of the voting is as follows: 3 votes in favor, 1 vote against, 11 abstentions. The proposed amendment has not been adopted, having failed to obtain the required number of votes. I shall put the draft resolution to the vote now. Will those in favor of the draft resolution contained in document S/2024/254 please raise their hand? Those against? Abstention? The result of the voting is as follows: 14 votes in favor, 0 vote against, 1 abstention. The draft resolution has been adopted as Resolution 2728, 2024.
It appears that the United States has finally decided to end unconditional support for Israel. It's because the pressure has been mounting, and it has become extremely difficult for the United States to defend Israel's actions anymore. The United States also knew that vetoing the resolution this time would humiliate it again. You should know that the resolution received support from the remaining 14 council members. It urges an immediate ceasefire, particularly during the Muslim fasting month of Ramadan, which ends in 2 weeks. Additionally, the resolution demands the release of captives seized during attacks on Israel led by Hamas on October 7th. However, the United States, traditionally supportive of Israel, refrained from endorsing the resolution. Ambassador Linda Thomas Greenfield attributed the U.S. abstention to concerns over certain aspects of the resolution and expressed disappointment that key edits, including a condemnation of Hamas, were not incorporated. Well, now the United States has realized that resolutions can be adopted even if it does not agree with them. However, to avoid looking weak, the United States clarified that it does not signal a change in policy. In response, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's office strongly reacted to the U.S. abstention, viewing it as a deviation from previous positions. Because Netanyahu was shocked, he refused to send a high-level delegation to Washington, D.C. in response to the perceived shift in the U.S. stance. You should know that the resolution is binding under international law, which means it has to be implemented whether Israel likes it or not. The Palestinian Ministry of Foreign Affairs emphasizes the need to fulfill legal obligations outlined in the resolution, including achieving a lasting ceasefire, ensuring access to aid, and releasing Palestinian prisoners held by Israel. Hamas has expressed readiness to engage in immediate prisoner swaps, while France has called for sustained efforts towards a permanent ceasefire beyond the Muslim holy month of Ramadan. However, despite the adoption of the ceasefire resolution, concerns remain about its long-term effectiveness. Russian Ambassador Vasily Alexeyevich Nebenzia highlights the resolution's significance in demanding an immediate ceasefire but urges its utilization to promote peace. However, uncertainties persist about what happens after Ramadan, prompting calls for further diplomatic efforts to secure lasting peace in the region. Do you think that this resolution will be implemented and Israel will be made to follow it? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section right below. Also, subscribe to our channel for more videos like this one.
Tell us what you think in the comment section. Like and share the video, and subscribe so that you don't miss any of our African videos. It's the best way to support us.